Genesis chapter 38, verse 1. It happened at that time that Judah went down from his brothers and turned aside to a certain Adullamite whose name was Hira. Okay, so before I start off with the teaching on the chapter, so we are at this place here on Koh Chang at the sea and drinking what's the mango lassi, so in Thai mamuang lassi. Okay, it looks quite, what's the word for it, quite good, and I hope it will taste well. Very good. Okay, so Judah, it starts off with he kind of went out on his own, right? So immediately you need to kind of see something is amiss here in this whole chapter. It starts off amiss. Jacob went off alone from his brother because he had to flee for his life, right? In this case, Judah is not fleeing for his life anywhere. This is a choice he's making, and to go out on his own. And remember, he's not the oldest, he's not the eldest of the sons. He is third in line. Okay, and then turning aside. So the fact that he's turning aside, again, that ought as well be red lights flashing. Turning aside, there's always like, you know, turning from the road. Like they're going in the wrong direction. Right? There's a straight, there's a narrow and a straight, and he is like turning aside. Okay? So a lot of things already in this verse is telling us, or there's something bad is going to happen here. There's a foreboding effect. There's this build up to, it's not all good here. And it starts off with Judah being in the wrong. So it clearly immediately shows us that Judah is wrong, and what is going to happen is because of Judah that who is wrong. And so there's a certain Adullamite named Hira, right? And so Hira is like, he went away from his people to the Gentiles, befriending a Gentile, and this is not going to end well for him. Okay. Verse 2. There Judah saw the daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shua. He took her and he went into her, and she conceived and bore a son, and he called his name Okay, so you saw, right? Remember Lot seeing, and he went, okay? So to Sodom and Gomorrah. Here he sees, so we've spoken about this before. You can go watch some of the older videos about this idea of seeing and where that's going to lead. Here he sees Canaanite. I mean, they're not supposed to get married to the Canaanites, but actually in a certain sense this is not so strong now, because there are 12 brothers and they're all going to basically kind of marry outside. We're not going to get married to the sisters, understandably. Okay, but he sees, he takes, and like it says, he took her. So this whole idea of how it's stated doesn't sound so very well. Again, it doesn't sound like, okay, she was willing, and this borders kind of close to the concept of rape, and he basically forcefully taking her to make her his, and then getting married. So it is, from the beginning we see that he is not thinking with this, but he's thinking with the other part of the male body. And so yeah, you'll see in the naming of the sons as well, right? So she gave birth, the first son, called his name well, kind of what I call, what my name is kind of like here in Thailand, because I can't pronounce my name, Ernst, in Thai. The Thai alphabet doesn't allow for that, right? So I'm just here, kind of. His name was called right? And so he called, she bore, he called, right? So he is the one in this stage calling the son, the firstborn. He is giving the name of the firstborn. Verse 4, she conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan. Okay, so you see now already there's a movement. In the first son, yes, he was Judah gave the name. The second son, she is giving the name. Now that can be two reasons for it. Either this means it's a cultural thing that the firstborn is the most important, yes. Although the lines, the Jesus line always never goes, well, not never, but very seldom goes through the firstborn. But so for that reason, maybe culturally wise, he had to give the name. But remember, when it gets to Jacob's sons, the firstborn wasn't named by Jacob, but by Leah. Okay, so now in this case, so therefore I would like to say, I don't think if this is like a rule they followed all the time. If there was such a cultural rule, it's not a rule that they followed all the time. So I think more the explanation here is the fact that he just took her, she got pregnant, so he is still taking more responsibility for the birth year of the son, maybe feeling bad about the way how he took her. But when it got to the second son, well, you know, I already kind of did the thing, getting a little bit bored with her. My eyes not that much anymore, start thinking more with his head, less caring for her. So the son being born, whatever, okay, let her name it. I think that is most likely, if you compare the Jacob and Judah stories here, I think that makes a little bit more sense than the other version of it's cultural, and therefore he named the other one, and the second one's not that important, so he didn't name him. Okay, verse 3. Yet again she bore a son, and she called his name Shelah. Judah was in Chesed when she bore him. Okay, so when it gets to the third son, Shelah, and I think to prove my point that this is not a cultural thing, but Judah not being so much in love or not so much care for her anymore, because by the birth of the third son, he's not even in the picture, right? He was there, understandably, in the conceiving part, but when the birth came, he was gone. He was in another place. So seeing the firstborn son, he gave the name. Secondborn son, she gave the name. Thirdborn son, he's not even in there. Okay? So it kind of therefore shows that most likely there, after he starts and he's forcefully taking her, he's starting to move away from her, his feelings towards her is growing cold. And yeah, that is a way, right? It's a way, maybe all kinds of things happening there. And we'll get to Tamara and how Tamara is going to outfox him. And I think Tamara knew that he is the kind of person who is not faithful to his wife, as you can already kind of see from these namings. And therefore she's going to be able to outfox him in such a way she's going to do it. But we'll get back to that later.